Hi, this is Edwin Dearborn, another edition of Growth Driven. Yes, we grew by 250% last year. While the world was going crazy with you know what, we grew by 250% in our partnership, and I want to share what we did to create that. Edwin Dearborn here, another edition of Growth Driven. If you've ever wondered what a virtual or fractional CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, can do for you as a partnership, I want to share with you a success story of a partnership that I started about 13, 14 months ago. And we're celebrating basically our first year, and we grew by 250%. So I partnered with a gal named Maya Weinreb, and she owns Solvency Now Bookkeeping. She came to me through a referral and wanted to 10x her bookkeeping company. No real team members, a couple bookkeepers, no real marketing experience, big dreams, but really no know-how on how to grow her business. It was just all kind of word of mouth, and once in a while she would post on social media. So we entered an agreement. I get a certain percentage of the profits. What that amount is between her and I, but this type of arrangement can be done with your business or your startup as well. So she'd been in business for about 3 years, growing very slowly, making, decent money, and, had a long-term, outlook on being a bookkeeper. But she wanted to accelerate the growth. And so everybody that was coming to her with marketing proposals was, kind of like, well, you need SEO, you need a better website, you need this, you need this. And I said, no, what you need is you need a strategy. You need something that's encompassing that will grow you from the bottom up, sustain. It won't be a one-trick pony. We need an actual marketing strategy, a written strategy based on your resources that will take you from point A to point B in a matter of a few years. How do we actually build a brand? So I want to share with you what I did, and I'm going to cover about 8 or 9 points here of what I did to help her grow. So you're going to look on the screen here, and not only did we grow last year by 250%, our sales, that's our monthly average sales, grew by 250%, but we're slated right now on our trajectory based on our current growth to double once again. So that'll be a 500%, a 5x growth in 2 years. Not bad for a little business. But it's not going to be a little business for long. Our goals are definitely to, within the next 2.5, 3 years, actually 10x her original position. Once you get that. So if you're a small business owner and go, I really want a 10x, I'm telling you, I'm going to give you some keen insights that will tell you what to do. And if you're interested in working with me, well, then let me know. I love doing partnerships like this. But let's go into the details. So one, we formed a formal written partnership. She's the CEO. I'm the CMO, Chief Marketing Officer. And later on, we added my daughter as the Chief Expansion Officer, CXO. So she handles personnel, internal manners, recruiting new bookkeepers, that type of stuff. So we built a team. We went into a formal agreement. We built a team. All right. Number 2, we developed a comprehensive written marketing strategy. Got to change a word there. We developed a written marketing strategy. How important is that? I believe it is absolutely vital, because if you don't put it in writing, it doesn't really manifest. People talk and talk and talk, but when you clearly lay out what you have in terms of resources, what people do we have? What technology do we have? What resources do we have? Do we have an email list? Do we have a social media following? Do we have a website? What is the shape of the website? Let's just assess everything we have and how do we use it to incrementally grow so that if we use our resources well, we'll get more resources and we start to build some momentum. So we had to develop a comprehensive written marketing strategy to do all that, to take care of our branding or SEO or social media. How do we use email? What kind of content do we create? Number 3, we're going to generate leads. We need to conduct a weekly sales meeting so that we go over where did the leads come from so that we can recognize where our success is coming from, where it is not coming from. What are the people saying? We want to understand not only how we're generating the leads, but what are they coming for so that we can begin to build a bullpen of information for further development of marketing strategies. But we also wanted to make sure that we were following up with them. What happened with this lead? He said he'd get back to us. Great. It's been 2 weeks. Send him an email, send him another phone call. So again, the fortune is in the follow-up. So we put in that discipline of not only generating new leads, understanding where the leads come from, but then following up on them. Number 4, we started to build her presence on LinkedIn. I think she was at maybe 400 connections after 3 years. So in 3 years, she developed 400 connections on LinkedIn, had no idea what to do with it. We're now close to, ready for this, 8,000 connections. And these aren't just anybody. We specifically went after the people that we knew were going to want bookkeepers. So we went after lawyers and certain types of doctors, small business owners. So we got aggressive on sending out invitations through LinkedIn Sales Navigator, bought the service, we implemented it, went from 400 to 8,000 connections. Okay, so that means that we're communicating with 8,000 people. Moreover, we built her email list. Her email list went from 500, I think we're at 6,000. So just again, reaching out to these people, putting them on our email list. Then we sent out content. FAQ, frequently asked questions. I asked her, what are the top 50 questions that people ask you all the time about bookkeeping? I had her dictate the answers. It came out to like 10,000 words. We had it professionally edited. We broke it down to little bite-sized pieces, and we started to email that content. Like what does a bookkeeper do? Answer that question. What other questions we have? And we just started answering people's questions through email, and then we also posted it on social media. And we had more and more people who were now following us on social media could see these answers. So we began to post content to our ever-growing connections, to our ever-growing email database. Very, very key. Number 7, we created branded content featuring appropriate quotes about money and finance from famous people. And we did this very artistically. And you go to one of the things that companies I run is Branded Shareables. And I'll just give you an idea of what these look like. This is, very, very aesthetic content. Let me just pull up the page here. Sorry about that. I got to pull up my next share screen. And hold on here. So if you're following along, I'm going to share my screen. So we're going to go to Branded Shareables. So what we did is we started taking quotes from famous people, and I worked with some designers and getting these designs of really beautiful design quotes with her logo on it. And we started posting these on her social media content, or her social media sites, which we were growing. So we were growing her presence on mainly LinkedIn, but we also were growing it on Instagram and Facebook. We were, investigating what were the best types of hashtags to add. So we started to get really sophisticated, not only with the design work, the branding, but we started talking about the subject of money. And we started putting this in front of her social media followers, in front of her referral sources, so that we had presence on social media at all time. We now have automation technology, and we work with virtual assistants, and we post this content, get this, 5 times a day to 3 social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, and her LinkedIn profile. So we're constantly in everybody's feed with this aesthetic content with her logo on it, and it's making her look like a pro. And I guarantee you right now, 99.99% of bookkeepers do not do this marketing at all. So you can see the competitive advantage. Number one, we're talking to not 400 people, we're talking to 8,000 people on social media. Get that, 8,000 people in the span of a year. And we're putting content in front of them all the time. Inspirational content, motivational content, frequently asked questions, information, and we're just in their feeds all the time, putting out this eye-popping content. Here's the real unlock, and here's the big weakness in most businesses. They don't reinvest a certain percentage of their money back into their growth. So as we started to grow, yeah, we're making more money personally, but then we say, hey, you know what? We need to assign a certain budget. I don't even like to call it a budget. Why did I even say that word? I like to call it a 10x growth fund. Take 10% of what you're making and put it back into your growth. Grow the lists even more. So guess what we started to do? We purchased automation technology to speed up the social media. We started hiring virtual assistants. We started upgrading the website here and there. We started to do more social channels. We started to reach out cold emails to local businesses. Hired a virtual assistant to do that. And now within the week, we're going to start Facebook ads, highly targeted Facebook ads. We're putting the money back in. So guess what happens when you create growth organically, then you take that profits and now you double or triple the amount of reach through paid advertising. This is the first time we're going to be doing paid advertising. We had 250% growth with no Facebook ads, no Google ads, no Bing ads, no Instagram ads, nothing paid for. This was just growing of followers and just putting out good content and using virtual assistants and automation technology to just get the job done better, faster, and more often. Now add to that paid advertising. And you can see why in the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to 10x. Okay. If you are a small business person and you want to have a strategic advantage like this, your plan that I would develop for you may not look exactly like this. There may be some additional resources that you have that Maya didn't, that we could access. You may have certain partnerships. You may have co-branding opportunities. You may be able to work with certain influencers. You may be able to do public speaking. I don't know. I don't know what you have in your bag of tricks. I don't know what you have in terms of resources. I don't know what you have in terms of advertising budget, but I do know this. If you are looking to grow and have that virtual chief marketing officer, just not change 1 or 2 things, but develop and run and execute with accountability your marketing program that spans all divisions and departments and just General George Patton's that thing to a done. Maybe it's time for you and I to talk and work together, because I would love to do that for your brand. This has been another edition of Growth Driven with Edwin Dearborn. You make it a great day. Bye-bye.